Mercury is an unusual and almost inaccessible planet. Despite its relative proximity to Earth, only two Earth-based vehicles have visited the tiny celestial body in the 21st century. And their missions were very costly, both in terms of time and money. That's why we still know very little about Mercury, but today we're going to lift the veil of secrecy. And we will try to form a picture of the Mercurian world. Numerous photographs and scientific data provided by the Mariner 10 and Messenger probes will help us do this. Thanks to the first device, a map of 40% of the surface of Mercury was drawn. And it turned out that, to some extent, it is a second moon. The body of the planet is richly dotted with craters of various ages and sizes. There are such huge basins as the Plane of Heat, which stretches for 1550 kilometers in diameter and makes up a third of the planetary waste, and the 716-kilometer long Rembrandt. Why are huge craters given such romantic names? The Plane of Heat is the largest impact crater in the solar system. It got its name because of its location, 180 degrees of meridian. This is where the probes recorded the highest record temperatures. It is a recognizable area among the dark Mercurian landscapes because it looks much lighter. Probably in ancient times, an asteroid of at least 100 kilometers across fell on the planet. This is evidenced by the parameters of the crater and the echo of a terrible impact on the back of the celestial body, which provoked the appearance of a chaotic landscape area. In general, there are many locations on Mercury that have no analogues in our star system. For example, the mysterious Pantheon pharaohs. They are located on the Plane of Heat. These long depressions diverge for many hundreds of kilometers from the common center. They are of great interest to astronomers. The crater is named after the great Dutch painter who first saw the Messenger probe, so everything is logical about the name of the crater. Scientists have agreed to name Mercury's depressions in honor of famous humanitarians. A rim is a huge wound that appears on the celestial body as a result of heavy cosmic artillery that occurred at least 3.9 billion years ago. After that, for a long time, smaller craters appeared in the crater. Ridges grew at its bottom, and steep cliffs formed. But that's where the similarity to the lunar surface ends. Otherwise, Mercury is a completely unique planet. Its terrain has the interesting feature of numerous ledges. They stretch for hundreds of kilometers. The origin of the formations is not fully understood. Most likely, their appearance was facilitated by a significant and dynamic compression of the crust. Another difference between Mercury and the surface of our satellite is the relative identity of its hemispheres. But what about the weather of the Earth's neighbor? Most people are sure that if Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, it means that it is infernally hot and the hottest place in our system. But this statement is only half true. Mercury has both wild heat and incredible cold. On the celestial body has the sharpest temperature differences among its 7 moons. But in terms of unimaginable temperatures, Venus confidently beat Mercury. All this information is emphasized, not only with the help of guests who have visited the planet. Astronomers also study Mercury with the help of various telescopes. The latter mainly refines the data obtained by the probes: orbital velocity, duration of days, temperature, and density. By the way, this parameter of small Mercury is almost similar to the Earth's. But why is such a close planet so poorly studied? The minimum distance from Earth to Mercury is 82 million kilometers, and this is not too far for high-tech vehicles. But still, the difficulties with entering the Mercury orbit are countless. Mercury is slightly deviated from the standard planetary planes, but this is not the main thing. The most serious problem is the incredible solar gravity. To gain a foothold in Mercury's orbit, it is necessary not to accelerate as when flying to outer planets, but rather slow down significantly. Engineers have no right to make a mistake in calculating the trajectory and speed. Otherwise, instead of entering the orbit of a celestial body, the probe would plunge into a fiery solar furnace. In science fiction movies, everything is elementary, but in reality, accelerating in space is much easier than slowing down. The latter maneuver requires a huge amount of fuel. It naturally has a lot of weight, which is extremely important when overcoming the Earth's gravity. That is, the problems of launching Mercury missions begin on the ground. However, space agencies decided not to stop with 2 vehicles at the moment. The Picolombo mission, launched in 2018, is currently in operation. The ship is designed to deliver 2 probes to Mercury's orbit, 1 European and 1 Japanese. In mid-2022, the spacecraft made its second flyby of Mercury at a distance of 200 kilometers from the planet's surface. After taking many photos, scientists made a video showing the features of the planet's surface, as well as one of the largest impact craters in the solar system. At present, the spacecraft has already made its 3rd flyby of Mercury at a distance of 237 kilometers from its surface. After that, to enter orbit around Mercury in 2025, the spacecraft will have to make 3 more such flybys, in September and December 2024, and in January 2025. After that, the spacecraft will enter orbit around the planet. During the previous flybys of Mercury, the instrumentation was used for the first time in the history of studying Mercury's weak magnetosphere. However, the most valuable data is to be collected during the main mission. The obstacles that accompany these missions are a classic example of how obvious and close targets are more difficult to reach than locations that seem far away. While you're thinking about this conclusion, going into the jungle of philosophy, don't forget to press the thumb up and the bell that will ring immediately after the release of the new video, which means you won't miss it. Good luck and see you soon.